The sound of the final buzzer means it's hangover time. So grab a drink and join your host, Alphonse Sidney, for a Miami Heat Beat post-game show.
I think that's what Alf does. What's up, everybody? Welcome to Hangover Time, powered by Miami Heat Beat. Alf can't make it tonight. He's on at a date, so I guess we'll call that load management. I'm not really sure. But thanks for coming out after a Heat win, which has been kind of a rarity when it came to our post-game shows this year. Even though we won, it wasn't pretty. And I think I speak for all of us. That first half was misery after this scrubby Wizards team. So we're going to break that down for you a little bit tonight. Let's see who we got on our panel. We have got Mr. Christian Hernandez. He's killing it already. We'll move on. Tiffany Meeks. Let's hear it for Tiffany. What's up, Tiff?
What's up, guys?
All right. We got Mr. Franky G in the house.
Let's play some more defense in that game today. God damn.
And we got Mr. Alex Musibay.
What's going on, people? I just want to say that earlier today I tweeted out, if Tyler scores more than 30 points, I'm going to be obnoxious tonight. And my boy Drip Drop scored 31. We are going to get fucked up. Oh, I shouldn't have said that in the first half. Whatever, let's do it. Ah!
It's fine. It's fine. I'm glad someone's excited about this. Because I don't think it's the rest of us, but yeah. Tyler, yeah, 31 points. That's awesome. I mean, there's a few really good takeaways in this game, and there's some really awful takeaways in this game. The defense in the first half with this starting lineup. I don't know if you saw this starting lineup without Westbrook, without Beal, because of all the COVID protocol. I am shocked that this game even happened, because everyone who came in contact with this Wizards team over the last week seemed to have gotten infected. So it was kind of a ballsy move to start, but it seems at this point the NBA is like, hey, as long as you can have five guys on the floor, like, you know, let's you got, what's your excuse? What are you gonna do? So I don't know. Franky, what's your takeaway for this game?
I'm glad we won, but I'm not happy about how we played at all. The fucking defense. Oh, sorry, my bad.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Go on with it. Al's not here.
No, it's rules. A Twitch. No, damn defense, man. Just the effort, just nonchalant. Garrison Matthews becoming a thing every time he plays Miami is the most obnoxious possible situation every time we play the damn Wizards. I'm just tired of seeing them just like keep the bad teams like sticking them around, you know?
Yeah. It was not pretty, man. It was not pretty, and I was really miserable in this first half. At the end of I think the first half they ended with like 76 to 70 something. I mean, Jesus, man.
Dude, the first quarter was 47-44.
Yeah. I mean, that's just unacceptable. That's just unacceptable. And the game should not be this close on a night where you're actually shooting. You know, shooting well. Like, you know, they were shooting really well. And people were, I mean, foul problems galore tonight. I mean, Bam had 5 fouls with like 8 minutes left of the third quarter. I mean, it was a bloodbath tonight. So, I mean, Moose, do you have anything? Like, what's your takeaway aside from the drip drop?
Well, you know, we got Drip Drop. You can say it with me. Drip Drop. He scored 31. Honestly, though, my biggest – and by the way, yes, I don't care that it was against a depleted Wizards team. Stats still count. It was an NBA game. So what I will say is that the first half of the game was boring, like really, really boring. The effort out there was so nonchalant that I kind of flipped over to Netflix for a little while. And then I came back in the second half, just like the players did, and finally they got into gear.
Yeah. I agreed. So Tiffany, got to hear your takeaway from tonight. Well said. Well said. That's all. That's honestly all you really have to say. I mean, listen, there was no Mo, right? So right off the bat, it could have been worse for you.
It could have been. You know what? They won the game. They needed a win. Doesn't matter. Let's look at it that way. They needed the win. My biggest takeaway is that I'm going to look at it right here. Jimmy Butler played 36 minutes. That's my biggest takeaway.
Yeah. And on that note, I mean, I know Goran played, just under 20 minutes, which, 20 minutes, whatever. Okay.
Right.
But he played late minutes in this game. And I'm seeing him out on the floor. I know he was like super hot from three. But I mean, not on this game, man. Not on this game. Like you gotta stick him in some bubble wrap, man. I don't know. I'm just it. And Spo kind of has a history of that this season. Goran is a guy that you cannot let under any circumstances get injured. And when he's out there playing this team, no. Like if you cannot beat this team without Goran out there, you have other problems.
Right. Well, the other problem is Jimmy had to play Jimmy played 36, Tyler played 37, Duncan played 35, Kelly played 32.
Yeah.
No, that's a huge problem. If Jimmy's playing 36 minutes against the Washington Generals, then we got problems.
Right.
Like this is beyond everything. Like, yeah, Tyler had a big night, but man, that big night, I can't even focus on that.
Massive night, Tiffany. It was a massive night. Drip drop.
It was huge.
Christian, I know you watched every second of this game when you were
every single one
the entire time. Just a little. We got to back up a little bit. Christian was the first one in the waiting room in here before we're starting, and Christian was like, "I didn't see a second of this game," and he was like, "Did Washington? Is everyone starting for Washington?"
Yeah, but you know what? Like this game also felt very familiar because just by looking at the box score, I'm just like, all right. So it's and obviously they got it very close at the end, but like it wasn't really a close game. Super high scoring. It was like I know that the Wizards haven't been defending it all this season, but like I feel like I had seen this game, and it's because we have seen this game. This was the game that happened last season where they didn't have Beal or anybody, and these guys like these Garrison Matthews just came out of nowhere and just torched them. But the Wizards won that game. So this was the Heat doing it while having a great shooting night. So it's not as bad as it seems, but this was a really bad game, and I didn't even watch it.
Yeah, there's often these games. I always question the games when you're down a few of the starters and you haven't even heard half the roster. And, when you go into those games, like that just feels like a scheduled L in those, because they haven't been scouting these particular guys, and who knows? There's a lot of variables in that. However, with the way the Heat has played so far this season, aside from say Christmas, it's been shaky at best, and they really desperately needed a win. And though I'm really glad they got it, there's a lot to learn for that team in that first half, because that was really
right.
It wasn't acceptable. I mean, that's not okay.
Let me give a shout out to Twisted Tapioca on here.
Yeah, Twisted Tapioca, good people,
so
always here.
Absolutely.
Brass, to your point, let's not forget that there at the end for a minute, it looked like it might slip away too. So, applause to pulling ahead big time in the third quarter to my man Drip Drop. But we almost did lose it there at the end too. Like we can't overstate that enough to a depleted Wizards team. Like I'm not one to freak out over one game, but I still leave tonight a little bit with some hesitation. Like it's just there's something about this team, they need to get it together.
You're not one to trip out over one game, drip drop.
Drip, drop,
What's the opposite of an angel getting its wings? Because that's me whenever Moose says drip drop.
It's the devil getting its horns, right?
Yeah, that's how I feel. I'm like, Jesus Christ, is he still saying
Or
this?
getting that long, spiky ponytail? Like, yeah.
Somebody Photoshop me on Regina George and say, stop trying to make drip drop happen.
No, man.
Get in the car, bitch.
Will Manso, he's going to say it on the broadcast tonight, I hope. I got WPLG.
Don't empower this. Don't empower this, Will.
So, one person who really did not have a very good game tonight, Bam Adebayo. That was rough. That was a rough one from Bam. And again, he was taken out essentially really early. He did play late, but yeah, definitely not his best showing tonight. Although in his absence, in the second half of the game, we did see some more Precious. And I think we saw some really good minutes from Precious. So at the very least, when you're down some of the players, we get to see some of the new blood out there, really kind of showing out. I mean, he had some really nice possessions, and I think he's gonna be able to fill those minutes for a while when Bam gets taken out of the game kind of early. Did anyone else kind of anything to say on Precious?
Yeah, he's still proves time and time again how good his hands are, how good he is inside, finishing around the rim. He's Alf said a while back that he's more advanced than Bam was. Thank you, Riley Wilson. I'm 100% with you. Every time Moose says drip drop, a kitten dies. I feel like two of them die.
That's fine with me, man. I hate cats.
Wow.
Jesus Christ.
Wow. But Precious sets really good screens, finishes really well above around the rim, and he doesn't just do it on dunks. He has great touch around the rim, sets good screens, rolls hard, knows where to be. The fouling is a bit of an issue because we talk about Bam. Bam was in foul trouble all game, but Precious got in foul trouble too. He only got to play like 12 minutes because of it. That was the real reason Spo hit the breaking case of emergency and played KZ. Right. Because Precious had to get out.
Yeah, but still nice to see him regardless. I mean, if that's what it takes. I mean, honestly, with all these, I going back to I wasn't really sure if this game was going to happen. I personally thought this game was massively in doubt because it felt like it's been a while since in sports you see. In like a 24-hour period, you see like it's spreading from like team to team, and like people are starting to quarantine. It's like, oh shit! Like it started happening kind of quickly, and all of those points kind of led back to the Wizards over the last week because they faced the Celtics, which is taking Jason Tatum out for like 10 to 14 days, I think. Mm-hmm. So, props to Washington, I guess, for
that's the most defense they've played.
Taking him out. Exactly. And the 76ers, I mean, we all know what happened there. So there's a lot of this going on. So I was a little surprised that the game even took place. But I was also thinking, it might be a good opportunity to show some players that we don't normally see. Because, again, we've been clamoring for some KZ minutes. And it felt like with this roster, it sort of felt like we were really going to see a lot of them. We didn't, but we saw some, which is good. Going back to
we got a shout out for Christian on here. Pokey Sticks.
Oh, Dave.
Oh yeah.
Fuck off, Dave.
It's time.
Oh man.
I don't even know what that means. Well, I think he just wants me to go play video games with him. Like, no, Dave. After, all right. After.
Fair. Let's go back to what Twisted Tapioca said. So, yeah, when we taking drinks, I forgot to ask this at the beginning, and I'm so sorry about that. What are we all drinking tonight? So, Christian, what are you drinking tonight?
Oh,
I have water right now. I was drinking before.
Strike one.
You should have said straight vodka.
Strike one.
Anybody that knows me knows I won't drink vodka.
No, but that's strike one, Christian. That's not cool. Alex, what you drinking tonight?
Come on, man. It was a win. I'm going with my brand, Monkey Shoulder here.
There you go. My man.
It's delicious, trying to get a sponsorship.
It's tough work. Tiffany, what are we drinking tonight?
Looks like me and Frankie G got the Tito's popping.
Yes, man.
All right. Yeah, Tito's for you too, Frankie?
Tito's and Red Bull.
Tito's and Red Bull. All right. Have you ever tried not adding a sugary drink to another drink? Or
I have, but I needed to wake up a little bit.
I mean, listen, it's not a hard seltzer situation. I'm going to give you a bit. That's fine. I'm drinking. I got this Glenlivet Caribbean Reserve. I'm drinking. But I do think, I mean, after a win, I think it's only fitting. We should probably do. Let's do a little shot of sorts. I don't have a shot glass in front of me or a chug, however you want to do it. I mean, I think that's
okay. Yeah, I like the on-the-fly production. Yeah, let me get a cup.
Either for the win, for the drip drop, or the kittens dying, or whatever.
Oh my god.
Whatever.
Moose just brought the bottle and didn't bring a cup.
I like it. Oh, I'm stacked here, man.
Okay, I really appreciate that everyone liked the shots for donations thing, and I will do it again, I promise, but I'm not doing it tonight.
Strike 2. Cheers, everybody.
What happens if I get 3 strikes?
For drip drop.
Listen, we need a body.
Brass cuts your mic again.
I'll probably throw you on the bench like Myers, but like, I don't know. You'll get some minutes. Speaking of Myers, we actually saw a little bit of Myers tonight. Yeah. Moving on.
A little bit of Myers.
A little bit of Myers. As a matter of fact, probably the only highlight. And he did have it. He got hurt. But we saw this moment of him on the sideline. I mean, listen, you haven't played in weeks, and you play like 7 minutes of a professional NBA game. Like, this is not. I'd be the same thing. I'd be a wreck on the side.
Hey, but it's not often that you see Myers in a highlight and he's the second best person with he has the second best hair. That trainer, man, what a do.
Yeah, let's look at that.
Oh man, Musibay, IR Flynn 87 just subscribed tier 1 sub, and he says sub for drip drop. Look at that, Musibay.
Wow. Hey, I'll do a shot for that. I'll do a shot for that.
Wow. Hell yeah.
There we go.
This is going to your head, Moose.
Drip drop.
Oh, wait. So has Brass been sending Solana into the closet? Did I miss this? I missed this, I guess.
What are the choice of words there that you used?
Whatever.
I'm
into like a hamper. Whatever. Like, that's not what I meant.
That's all right.
Hey, Moose, if you're gonna sponsor Monkey Shoulder, you shouldn't make that face when you drink it.
No, it's delicious. It's delicious.
Yeah, I mean, just wait.
It is
Let's see
very smooth.
If Tyler ends up being in a trade scenario at some point this year. Like, I can't wait to see how much he's going to drink then.
That's going to
be a rough one. Yeah,
he dropped the drip.
Moose is going to drop dead that night for sure.
Even when we drafted Drip Drop, I fully expected him to be a trade chip eventually. So I'm prepared for that day, although I hope it doesn't happen. But we'll see what happens.
Yeah, listen, he was good tonight, man. I mean, he was a -2, but considering the ups and downs of this game, I'm not too shocked at that. So just so you know, in the chat there and on Twitch, thanks for coming out. Send us some questions. So send us some questions so we can hit you up. Man,
I got a question for the group, actually, if you don't mind. Was anybody else like freaking out when KZ came in? Because I was so excited to see him get in there, and then he got those first couple rebounds, and then I didn't see him ever again.
Yeah. Tiffany, you want to? I mean,
you know what? I think we all have been waiting so long for him that it's just like every little thing that he doesn't do, we just it's just like a big sigh because we've been waiting so long. But he had that one good preseason game. Maybe he's not ready. Maybe he's not ready to get more minutes than he's getting. That could be it.
But I feel
I think we should get Tyler the max.
Oh, I'm with you. Drip Drop is a $300 million player. I think the problem with
that's a strike for both of you guys.
Exactly.
So wait, was that my third strike?
No, Christian, you can stay for a little bit. Listen,
But
Okay,
I think like a
fine.
night like tonight, KZ, you really want to get those energy minutes from him. So I was excited to see him get on the court. I don't understand why he couldn't stay out there, at least for the energy.
He gets lost in the shuffle. I don't know if you've noticed on the like that first 30 seconds, he has a burst. Once he gets past a minute, I don't know if he can read the defensive coverage. Like, I'm going to be honest, I don't know if he can read it. He gets caught a lot on switches. He hedges a lot, and he doesn't know when to go, when not to go. And then, the rotating man gets caught out of place because they're waiting on him to move up on the defense. I don't think he can read the defense. And to be perfectly honest, how many more players do we need on the court that can't read the defense?
But that's exactly why I feel like he should get more reps just to see if he can learn and improve. Because like we already seen Myers, be slow to react 1,000 times. I can be a little patient with KZ, see if he picks it up a little quicker than that.
I mean, I agree with you, and it would be different if we didn't have so many defensive liabilities. Mm-hmm. And it's like everyone in the East seems to just be like crabs in a barrel. Everybody's grabbing each other, pulling each other down. So how much longer can we experiment with having multiple players on the court that are like below average defenders?
I think that's fair.
So here's a question: is KZ's ceiling higher than DJJ?
I don't know.
We don't know.
We don't know.
It's really
They're not
hard to
giving
know.
him the time to put it together, though.
Yeah.
I feel like DJJ at least was getting the minutes.
Yeah, but DJJ also had like this. He was like Miami was already his second spot. He had time with the G League first, so he had time to get reps in and stuff. And he was asked to do a lot less. I think KZ's ceiling is higher just because of his skill set. He could dribble a little bit more. DJJ, if he took more than one dribble, that was going off his foot. He was DJJ's way more athletic, but I think KZ's frame is built for a lot more longevity. So I mean, hypothetically, I think so, but we just have to see him put it together.
Yeah, I think there's no way to know the true answer of that right. Because we just have not seen enough.
Right.
He could be an incredible all-star player, or he could just be exactly what you saw tonight, which was So yeah, but he needs more minutes. But the frustrating thing is, like, to me, this is the type of game you should have been able to play him a lot.
And that was my point. With Jimmy shouldn't have had to play 30 plus minutes. Absolutely. Yeah. That's my whole point. Like, tonight was the night where they were supposed to have a comfortable lead in the fourth. And that's when you throw out KZ, you throw out Nunn, you throw out these players that, like, either you want to keep or you want somebody to call and ask for. So this was the moment.
Tonight was a showcase game.
Yeah. So guess what? You didn't get that tonight. You got Jimmy running ragged. And what are they going to look like tomorrow?
Yeah, I totally agree.
We're all going to have COVID tomorrow. Knock on wood. I don't think they should have played tonight, but whatever.
Yeah, agree. So here's a question from QTruth10. Will Kelly Olynyk stay consistent with these good games? I mean, to that, I would say Kelly Olynyk is really good. And, I mean, there have been a lot of times the last couple seasons where I'm just surprised that Spo isn't playing him more, because I know he had some lingering health issues last year. But he thankfully doesn't seem to be going through that right now, and he's balling out. He's a really good player. So I'm glad that we're seeing, these games aren't that surprising to me. This is kind of what I think Kelly is, actually. I mean, maybe not up to this level like every single game, but I don't know. What do you guys think? Alex, what do you think?
Well, I mean, I was always with the rest of Miami Heat beat that he should be the starter. I think alongside Bam, we're seeing already the improvement in the offense. I see tick tick boom in the comment section, and I was just going to bring that up. It's also Contract Kelly, and Contract Kelly is a bit of a baller. So let's use that to our advantage.
Agreed, Christian. What do you think of? Do you think Kelly can keep this up?
Yeah, I mean, I've always been like Kelly's biggest advocate. Like, I've always been screaming that the statistics say that the Heat play a lot better than they usually do normally with him. And yet he still somehow manages to have games where he plays 10, 15, no minutes. Like, I hope maybe this roster structure is going to kind of force Spo to acknowledge that he needs to go to slightly more traditional lineups. He's probably hating it every second of it, but it's for the best of the team. Honestly, there's a massive sample size that shows that the Heat are a very good team with Kelly and Bam on the court together, and I don't see the point in going away from that, especially when Kelly is such a great spacer.
Well, and not only that, guess what? They got nobody else to go to.
It's true. That's
pretty that simple too. Yeah.
But one thing I like about Kelly is that he's not just a shooter. He can help you out in various ways. He can help you out in the dribble handoff, pick and pop, pick and roll. He's a good finisher around the rim. He's a good passer. So when his shot's not going to be falling all the damn time. He's a great shooter. His shot's not going to fall all the time because it's just reality. So as long as you're not expecting him to go 4 or 5 from the 3 every game, he's going to chip in various ways, and that's what I've always loved about him. And you can say, and like you guys were saying, like Chris said, like they have to play traditional, but you're also not, because Kelly can still space the floor.
Yeah, Frankie, and to your point, he has a much wider skill set than a lot of the other stretch fours that we have on the roster. So even if the shot's not going down, I do trust him as a facilitator. You know, he's got a nice feel for the game,
and he's still going to have gravity. So they're going to close out hard on him, and he can still pump fake, drive, kick it, finish, whatever.
OVO Nicholas asks, is Duncan as valuable as we really think, or can his role be replaced, like how he replaced Wayne Ellington?
I think going from Wayne to Duncan is 2 things. One, it's a credit to the Heat and how they get the best out of players. But let's not forget that we also went from a specialist to another specialist, and they both happen to be fantastic at what they do. So that doesn't always happen where you give up one for the other, and you're not having that much of a drop off in that one specific skill set. I do think that Duncan is as valuable as we see him because of the way that he affects the game with his gravity and pulls out the defenders. He's also, I believe he's in the top 3, maybe leading the league in 3-point percentage. So yes, he is very, very valuable, especially at his price.
And on top of that, he's not a defensive liability like Wayne Ellington was. Wayne Ellington was kind of a mess out there. And if Wayne wasn't hitting his shots, he wasn't in the game. Duncan, even if he's not, there's been plenty of games where Duncan he starts bricking him. But Spo still keeps him out there because he's not, he's actually a pretty good defender. He's not, he's not amazing, but considering his offensive output, what he gives you defensively is a really good all-around player.
That's a great point.
Yeah, he does. One thing I like about him, as opposed to Wayne, besides the size, where Duncan could get a shot off a lot easier than Wayne could, Duncan makes his reads a lot better. You see Duncan slip the dribble handoffs, he'll cut, and he'll get to the basket and finish around the rim. Wayne wasn't doing that. Wayne was coming up, making that straight read all the time, coming up for the ball, and shooting it over. And that's why Wayne, as good as he was only a 38% shooter. Duncan will get open with those back cuts and front cuts, and and that's why he's above 40%, because he keeps the defense honest.
Well, yeah, and this is another good point. I mean, since Wayne left the team, I mean, he hasn't been the same. This is not the same Wayne Ellington. Is he still on the Knicks, or where is he now? I'm not even sure.
He was in Detroit.
I think he's still with Detroit because I saw him in the video. Didn't they have like a altercation with Giannis or something the other night?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So I saw him in the background. Yeah.
Yeah, he's in Detroit again. He went from Detroit to New York, back to Detroit.
Listen, these guys have got to stop with the altercations. Okay, that's how this stuff spreads. Right. I always find it really funny how, like, so Jason Tatum is now quarantining because he was in contact. Was it
With Beal.
yeah, with Beal, all this kind of, but it's like, aren't all these guys kind of all over each other? I just find it so fascinating that they're like, oh, no, you need to go away for a week and a half. Get out of here. But these other guys that were just maybe like a foot or two more separation, it's like, no, listen, you're good. Just rub some dirt on it and get out there.
There was a video of the Sixers. Seth Curry tested positive, and in the last game he played, he high-fived Joel Embiid, and Joel Embiid immediately touched his face right after that. And they said contact tracing did not determine that Joel Embiid should sit a game.
Yeah, I was thinking of this clip tonight. Yeah.
Yeah.
KO-vid. KO-vid.
Yeah. Not great. Not great. Yeah. Man, I don't know. This is another one of the many games this season. It's so hard to analyze. I am at the point now. I was getting more frustrated tonight than I have been. The last few games was like, well, I chalk it up to it's early and we didn't have a preseason really. I mean, we had just 2 preseason games. There was no summer league for some of these guys to work out. So I sort of extended that in my mind. And a couple games ago, I'm like, okay, this is the actual start of the season. So now I could take it seriously. And tonight was just like, man, it's not. I'm getting a little frustrated. I'm not freaking out. I'm not heading for the exits, but I'm getting a little frustrated because defensively, there's just no freaking reason for this team. I know the Wizards are a really good offensive team. I'm aware of that. However, there are reasons for that.
Right.
Those reasons weren't on the fucking court tonight. So I'm still kind of stunned at that. Do you guys have any while we're sort of chatting about this? Any more questions for guys out there in the chat? So please fire away here. Yeah, I don't know. Does anyone have?
No, I mean, if you've ever played sports, the one thing defense travels. You may not be able to make a shot to save your life, but defense is the one thing you can always hang your hat on. They wasn't hanging shit.
How are we feeling about this? So this is so next they'll play Boston with no Tatum or Brown. I didn't even realize Brown was out. So no Tatum or Brown. How are we feeling about that?
Pritchard is going to drop 30, 100%.
Oh. He's going to drop 100. Like it's going to be horrific. It's going to be like Garrison Matthews on crack.
Yeah. Yeah.
God, Garrison Matthews dropping 8 in
Just
like 3 minutes.
Mentally prepare yourself. Meditate.
Yeah, he's going up on the random scrub heat killer Mount Rushmore, I think, after that game.
Oh,
that's
absolutely.
going to be super frustrating.
Garrison Matthews is like an all-timer right now. Like he's above his Schmidt.
Yeah.
Because he literally doesn't do this against anybody else. He's played 22 games, and he has 2 20-point games against the Heat. And he has like 4 10-point games against everybody else.
Here's a good question. Has the depth been overhyped on this team? Because it feels like we have so many borderline unplayable players. And I am going to have to agree with that. I think, in the offseason going into this, you're like, man, we're really stacked, man. We're really, really deep. But that's because that's by cherry picking moments of last season from certain players. That's taking Kendrick Nunn finished. Did he finish second in Rookie of the Year, or was it third? Second, right?
Second and first team.
Yep.
Unbelievable. And he didn't even play tonight. Like he's not even playable. It's really bizarre. So yeah, I happen to think that the depth on this team is a little overhyped. I mean, there's some talent there, sure, but we're not seeing it.
Right.
We're not seeing it this season.
Well, we're also I think it also kind of flattened it out when you discovered that, well, I didn't discover it, when other people discovered Mo was not your starting 4. So that kind of took the winds out of the sails, because then it's like, Because then it's like you gotta like you have to like train your whole way of thinking all over again. So now we're searching for a new 4. Okay, now we have Kelly, and now it's like the defense isn't looking great. Jimmy's hurt. So there were so many things that like we started going to the bench, and they all got exposed.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think you're definitely feeling the loss of Crowder, as you say, with unfortunately substituting Mo Harkless for him. But I think you're also feeling the loss of DJJ, because let's not forget DJJ was getting minutes during the regular season. You're going to need those extra bodies during the regular season, and we were hoping that KZ Okpala would be taking those minutes, and clearly he's not. So now you're also down that extra wing defender. So I do think that the depth issue is something that is slightly concerning.
Right.
That's a good one, G. Yeah, trade for Beal. Yeah. Yes.
Let's go. Let's do it.
Absolutely.
Just make sure he's got 2 negative COVID tests first.
That's right.
No more drip drop.
I have a question though.
That would hurt.
I'm concerned about the offense because, yeah, we can shoot the threes, we can hit the threes, but what is it? You see what it looks like when they're not hitting those threes. There's nothing there. There's no other way for this team to score unless Jimmy's just like putting his head down and driving to the basket. We don't score at three levels. So I'm a little bit confused as to what happens when we get into like that. Well, we've seen it where they slow us down. We can't shoot the threes. What's next? What's the next level for the scoring with this team?
Yeah, and that's definitely a big reason why Spo put Goran in the starting lineup to start the bubble and into the playoffs, because they needed a little bit of extra punch. And I think that's a big reason why he's stuck with Tyler, because I think he's trying to get that Tyler potentially can be a 3-level scorer. We've seen him work on his drive game. His mid-range game is really good right now. His inside game is getting a lot better. We just needed to see him be able to play 3 levels, because he's kind of abandoning his 3-point shooting. But yeah, I agree with you, Tiff, because Jimmy also takes a long time to get going. Sometimes he doesn't decide from the get-go.
Right.
I gotta be aggressive. He kind of distributes and plays passive, and then as the game gets going, he attacks a little bit more. That really does annoy me, because it's so Duncan heavy early on, and they try to establish Duncan, but when he's not going, and you could see this year he's gotten way less open shots than he did last year. So I think they do need to kind of find themselves and their rhythm in their offense.
Yo, did we give a shout out to Tone? Tone subscribed and gifted a sub to Summons Biscuits, which just makes me hungry now.
Oh,
wow.
Tone, good
Tone.
person.
I don't know what that means.
Neither do I, but we're gonna celebrate it.
Tone is good people. I got to see him once outside of on the 10. What's my section again? On the 120 balcony.
Right. He's surprised that I threw up his joke. He didn't expect me to throw up his joke, but
I was actually going to say he's had the comment of the night so far from me. That one broke me. That was good.
100%. 100%.
And if you're listening on the podcast, he said, Brass, go ahead.
Oh, this is an audio thing? Wait, people are listening?
Oh, you really want me to read that? Okay. I can do that. Yeah, Tone, not myself, Tone said this is the worst thing to happen in DC this week.
Well, it's great too. It came up during like Franky's hardcore basketball analysis.
I love it.
That's what like really broke me. The timing was beautiful.
Yeah, it was.
I mean, listen, don't come here for hardcore basketball analysis, guys.
Right, we're not.
That's not our show. There are other networks for that.
We're very wrong. We're very wrong most of the time.
I mean, at best, go to listen to a Heat Beat pod or something, but like that's not what you're gonna get here. You'll get some drip dropped in every now and then, but
this is all you're getting here.
We're having a good time. We're gonna drink.
All right. I think Alex is gonna keep drinking tonight. He's gonna keep going pots and pans until the next
It's gonna be a long night.
Tyler game.
When do we play again?
Tomorrow.
Oh, tomorrow. Tomorrow.
tomorrow.
So tell your friends, tell your enemies. We'll be right back here tomorrow night. Another back-to-back game where we face the Celtics, which happens way too much. I don't know.
Feels
what
like
the hell
every season, and and twice this season.
Right. Well, I think it happened twice last season too.
Yeah.
Against the Celtics.
Yeah, that's incredible.
It's
always the second night. We never get them on the first night.
Always, yes.
I think this is fair. We'll end with this comment. I think Tone is right. If Miami player ends up in quarantine, Washington needs to give us Beal. I think that's a fair trade-off.
Perfect.
Myers Leonard. I mean, clearly Myers feels like he belongs in Washington.
Oh.
Well, wow. Well, I think Myers just heard you say that, and he's not taking it well.
Hey,
he's really not taking it well.
Standing for once.
Well, he is in Washington.
Does
Yeah,
anybody
plug
notice?
the pod, Brass.
Does anybody notice that the trainers, like the bottom half of the hair, is still like a little bit blonde or something? Like it's all white, but just like a little bit there at the beginning.
He looks like Rob Ryan.
He never went for that. He never went for that quarantine cut. I think it was probably high and tight when this all started, and that's what he's left with. So, anyway, thanks so much for coming out tonight for Hangover Time. Be sure to listen to all the Miami Heat pods, Miami Heat Beat. It's on all your podcast shit, so check that out. You can also check all of our stuff out on Twitch. Tell your friends, tell them to subscribe. It's a good time, win or lose. We have a good time here, and that's gonna be it for us. So tomorrow night, same time. Well, yeah, roughly the same time, same channel, right here on Twitch. We'll see you then.